People who live the gang life. What incident made you leave it? A 9-year-old kid handed me a juice box while I was there to threaten his father. That's the night I quit. I'd been running with my cousin Wes since I was 16. He took me in after my mom's boyfriend threw me out, gave me a place to crash, money in my pocket, a sense of belonging I'd never had before. All I had to do was follow directions and never ask questions. By 22, I was collecting debts. That was my job. Wes would hand me an address and a number, and I'd show up and make sure people understood what happened if they didn't pay. I wasn't big, but Wes always said I had dead eyes, said I could unsettle people just by standing in their doorway long enough without blinking. One Thursday night, he slides me a napkin. Address on Caldwell Street, $800. Phil's been ducking us 3 weeks, he said. I'm done being patient. I pulled up around 9 p.m. Small house, patchy lawn, one of those inflatable kiddie pools sitting deflated by the steps. Porch light flickering like the bulb was halfway dead. I knocked 3 times, hard, the way I always did. The door opened, and I was looking down at this kid. Skinny, big brown eyes, wearing a Bengals jersey that hung past his knees. He was holding a bowl of Fruit Loops like it was dinner, and behind him the TV was playing some cartoon with the volume turned low. My dad's not home, he said. No fear, no hesitation, like men showing up at his door after dark was just another Thursday. I should have left, come back when Phil was around. But Wes had been riding me all week about going soft, about hesitating too much. So I stood there trying to figure out my next move. You want to come in and wait? The kid asked. He usually gets back around 10. Every rule I'd ever learned said don't go inside, don't sit down, don't get comfortable. But something about how casual this kid was, how routine it clearly was for him, made me step through that door. The house was clean but bare, almost nothing on the walls. The furniture looked like it came from 3 different Goodwills. The kitchen table had one chair pulled out with a single placemat and a cup of juice on it. Just one setting. This kid was eating dinner completely by himself. He climbed back into his chair and kept eating. I leaned against the counter with my arms crossed, trying to look like I belonged there. But I couldn't stop staring at that single placemat. You want some juice? He asked without looking up. We got apple and fruit punch. I'm good. He shrugged and kept crunching his cereal. Then out of nowhere he said, my dad says people come by because he owes them money. He says it's complicated. I didn't respond. Are you gonna hurt him? That question landed like a fist to the chest. Not because of how he said it, because of how he didn't say it. No tears, no shaking voice. Just a flat, practiced question from a kid who had clearly asked it before. Maybe dozens of times before. No, I said. And right then, I meant it completely. He nodded like he was filing that away. Then he slid off his chair, walked to the fridge, pulled out a juice box, and carried it over to me with both hands like he was handing me something important. You look like you need this more than me. I took it, and I just stood there holding a juice box while everything came apart inside my chest at once. This kid eating cereal alone at 9 o'clock at night in a half-empty house, offering his juice to the guy who showed up to scare his father. Being braver at 9 than I had been my entire adult life. And then I thought about myself at that age, before Wes, before any of it. I used to leave juice boxes on the kitchen counter for my mom when she came home from her night shifts, because I thought maybe it would make her smile. That was the version of me that existed before everything went wrong, and this kid was still that version, still giving away what little he had to people who didn't deserve it. I set the juice box on the counter, walked out the front door, got in my car, and sat there with the engine off for 20 minutes, staring at that flickering porch light. Then I drove straight to Wes's apartment, didn't knock, left the burner phone on his dashboard, left last week's cash in an envelope under the seat, drove 4 hours south that same night with $200 and a garbage bag full of clothes. I still think about that kid, not because of what he handed me, because of what he showed me. I spent 6 years collecting debts from people who had nothing, and the only person who ever offered me anything was a 9-year-old eating Fruit Loops alone at a table set for one.